Okay, sorry about that. We had some difficulties with the volume control here. So we're going to continue. Mark
Can I
just
ask
shared.
if?
Sure.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Can I ask if people heard the earlier presentation?
You can type in the question box or the chat box.
Okay. Question is whether or not people were following the earlier presentation and the comparison on the page.
Okay, why don't we just, okay, start again. All right, let's just go through this one screen briefly for everybody.
Okay, we're on the town stats page, and I just want to show you very briefly how we do comparisons. If you were, for example, if you were in Bernard's township, and you had the Bernard's township data, and you looked at the advanced data on the town that's available, demographics, property tax and rateable, municipal budgets, and probably this is the most important part of a town stats is that we can compare. We can look at the actual costs of various services, from the library to public works to police, and there's also crime data and salary data, so you can see how many police and fire employees there are, how many non-uniformed, what the average salaries are. But the main point on town stats is that it enables you to compare with other towns. So, for example, if we took two other towns, let's take Ridgewood, for example, and just type in Ridgewood, and we typed in a Princeton a township. This after hitting the compare with other towns button, and compared it on. Let's just take property taxes and a budget, and a personnel and salaries. I will leave the others out. You can have a look. You can look at how these towns' municipal spending compares, considering the number of residences in a town, the population, and you can look at personnel and salaries. These are towns of relatively comparable size. The median police salaries in Ridgewood are 114,000 versus 96,000 in Burns Township, and 100,000 in Princeton Township, for example. Total number of employees in the town. You have 24,000 residents in Ridgewood with 205 employees. Princeton Township with 16,000 is has a 111. Obviously, a much smaller municipal workforce overall. You can compare the budgets side by side. The budgets are relatively comparable. What is interesting is where the budgets may differ. The police budget police budgets actually follow fairly comparably per resident, considering that there are 24,000 residents in Ridgewood, 20,000 in Bernards, 16,000 in Princeton. So it enables you to compare spending within your own municipality versus like other municipalities. This, I think, is a tremendous advantage of town stats, and the most important thing is that we have compiled various spending in the 60-page budgets that are reported to the state into various budget categories for a comparison. I'd like to go to questions now.
Sure. So you can use the questions feature or chat feature to type your question. On chat, you can also ask or share it with the entire audience or just the presenters? Okay. Let me see what other questions we might have. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and unmute the phones too, so if anybody has a question. Um, it's not doing that.
Okay, we're now getting people on, which is good.
Yeah. Let me check the chat feature here. Okay, doesn't look like we have any questions yet. Let's go down here. Okay, great.
Okay, I think we have a question here from Nancy Wolf. Is there data which, how can I get to this?
Indicates city versus rural.
Which indicates city versus rural. If you look at the top of this a comparison page that compares Bernard's Township with Ridgewood and Princeton, there's a category under a quick search called a character, and what that does is it breaks down municipalities into the five standard characterizations used by the state police, which is urban, suburb, a suburban. There's one for rural as well. So it does provide that comparison. Obviously, in terms of comparing towns, you're best comparing with neighboring towns or towns that are similar from a socioeconomic standpoint. Okay, Melissa Honahan, in what ways have you seen people use this feature? It's been used for comparisons for potential cost savings. If we go back, for example, let's take a look at the merger that is currently going on. So, which involves a Princeton Borough and Princeton Township. If you take a look at a Princeton Borough, and you compare Princeton Borough with a Princeton Township, and with Ridgewood. Ridgewood, population-wise, in Bergen is similar to Princeton Township and to Princeton Borough as combined towns. If you look at the demographics here, you have 28,000 in a Princeton Borough and a Princeton Township combined. Ridgewood has 24,000. So the combined populations are relatively close. If you look at the police budgets, though, for example, for the towns combined, the police budget is $7.8 billion for a Princeton Borough and Princeton Township compared to $5.5 billion for Ridgewood. The combined budget for the towns is $61 billion versus $41 billion for Ridgewood. It would certainly imply that there is efficiency in efficiency and consolidation. And the Princetons are the two towns that are currently consolidating into one. In fact, there's a major meeting tonight in Princeton, at which they're laying out the detailed plan for that consolidation.
Just scroll down up here.
Okay, hang on a second. There's a question by Linda Baum earlier. What you're the stats for? The stats are marked. Generally, the budgets are for 2011 and 2010. The demographic data is from the census. It's from 1990, 2000, 2010, and most of the property tax and crime data is for 2000, 2005, and 2010. Okay, we're going to scroll down. There's one earlier from Lauren.
Okay. I'm not seeing. Let me go down to chat here.
Okay.
How could someone use this information to identify potential waste in their town?
One of the things to look at would be really to compare your budgets with budgets from like other towns of comparable size. So, for example, again, looking at over here, I would ask if I were sitting in the Princeton's, I would be asking why my budget for legal services for my two towns add up to $670,000 when Ridgewood's only spending $176,000 on its legal services. In terms of again, looking at the municipal court and public defender's office, a much higher budget than in Ridgewood. One of the areas that towns have seen changes, and you'll be able to see this, for example, when the 2012 budgets are posted, is that many towns have moved to consolidating joint municipal courts, and you'll see the legal services budget and the municipal court public defender budget dropping from year to year in towns that have recently consolidated into a municipal court. So for example, when the 2012 data is posted for Harding and for Madison and Chatham and Chatham Township, it will show us a significant cut in that area, directly attributable to the municipal courts for the four towns being consolidated.
Great. Let's see if there are any more questions coming in. If you have a question that you haven't submitted already,
Freeholder, Polos, were 1253. We should probably get turned to him.
You can go ahead and submit it now. I think we have a couple more questions, and then we're going to go over to Freeholder Polos.
Okay. The question is: Does this show the amount of borrowing or the bonds outstanding and the debt service due for town? Again, under the municipal budget, it will show the current year's debt service. So, for example, if you scan down, you have your debt service for the towns. Princeton Township was $6.4 billion in fiscal year 2011. Calendar year 2011, Princeton Borough was 3.885, and it was 3.6 billion in Ridgewood. Now we will have under the under the new questionnaires being sent out by the State Department of Community Affairs, starting for fiscal year 2013, there will be very extensive sections on a long-term debt service and debt obligations. I see, by the way, one of the most controversial issues. Obviously, you can see what your pension and employee benefit costs are as well overall. Okay. Should probably go to Freeholder.
Okay, are these data available to the public for its use?
Yes, yes, absolutely. We encourage you to use the data in the database, and if we can certainly provide a specific spreadsheets if I guess that are available. Though most of the data is currently online.
Okay, and the next question is from Orange, New Jersey. No required financial reports for years. No full-time city manager for 2 years. Okay, no clerk for 4 years. I'm not sure that's a question.
Well, I guess the question is like Orange and New Jersey is required to provide a financial report. So if we go to Orange on town stats, Orange City, right? And we do a. Hang on a second. Let me just close this out. Here is. Let's go to Orange for a minute. Orange City, okay, and let's do advanced data. You do have financial reports. You at least the city of Orange, like every every town is required to provide a detailed statistical data of the state. And if you look here, you do have we have compiled the 2011 Orange budget into a specific categories, and you do have reports from a DCA over here on property taxes and ratables, and you do have the most recent crime reports as well, plus state aid. So there is data available. I'm not sure if they're able to if it's up to level of like other towns, but there are required certified audits are required. We are. Your question, though, to follow up is that, like, even as a member of the Assistance Budget Committee, I'm unable to get accurate financial data. The data that goes into the budget is certified to the state, and we do calculate the budget data into specific categories, following the same format for like every municipality. I would say that the budget data that we're providing for Orange is accurate to a relatively high level of confidence. Obviously, we make occasional judgment calls as to whether expenses really going into public works versus solid waste, but the totals should be accurate, and we do follow the same format in deciding where the judgment calls are made. So they should be fairly. The data should be fairly accurate and reliable. We should have the 2012 Orange budget data up within the month.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. I'll just verify. No more questions at this point. Okay.
Yeah. Does this site allow under Linda? Okay, good.
Yeah. So now we're going to turn it over to Freeholder Polos. He also joined us at the October 23rd Make Government Work Better and Cost Less forum and shared a lot of great information about the best practices that have been implemented in Middlesex County to save the taxpayers money there. So I'm going to turn it over to you now, Freeholder Polos.